Welcome back to Technologies Now, the Business Edge, and this is a broker's perspective episode where we sit down with real estate professionals, also entrepreneurs who are actually building businesses, not just talking about them. I'm your host, David Urbach, and today's episode is part of our broker series. This is episode 30, and today I'm joined by Monica Wilhelm, broker of Wilhelm Investments and Realty in Houston, Texas. Monica brings a unique viewpoint to real estate, not just from transactions, but from ownership, investing, and long-term thinking. Monica, welcome to the Business Edge. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, David.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's do this. Let's start from the beginning. How did you first get into real estate and what ultimately led you to Wilhelm Investments and Realty?
Yeah, so I was about 25 years old. It sold everything under the sun, from the back of like register tape advertisement to copiers, all kinds of stuff. And I had a buddy of mine that was pretty successful in rentals. They were doing like leases and things like that. And I was really broke and I was tired of being broke. And I just was getting burned out of the sales industry. And he said, look, he says, why don't you give this a shot? And so I did. I rushed into the exam and found a broker and hit the ground running. And haven't really looked back since. I've been doing it for 20 years now, this year, actually.
Wow. So you've seen maybe a few changes over the years?
Oh, a ton, yeah. Especially 2007, 2008. But yes.
Oh, yes. A big market change there for sure. How did you survive that one?
Well, there's a saying in Spanish, si cae el limón del cielo, hay que hacer limonada. And in English, that means if lemons fall from the sky, you have to learn to make lemonade. So in that moment, we had an influx of foreclosures. And I learned really quickly how to do short sales, foreclosures. The majority of our clientele at that time had lower credit scores. So we mastered the FHA pitch and first-time home buyer. We had to save clients from losing their properties and losing everything. So some we were able to help work plans out through modifications. And then the others, we brought them to the market and tried to regain every equity that they were going to lose. But a lot of people during that time were 100% financing. And that's why it fell through the cracks. A lot of people didn't have skin in the game. So yeah, at the time I was also dual licensed. I was also a loan originator as well. So yeah, we worked through a lot of it, and that education helped me guide these clients.
So what's the key to guiding them? The fact with your experience or just your common sense or that you care for your clients and you want to look out for the best interest? Obviously,
probably all the above. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm saying that because if you're trying to help them save their homes, you're obviously not stepping in and saying, hey, let's sell this. You have no other choice. You're trying to take care of them. And that indicates from your character just right there.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. No, I learned a long time ago. My first broker, I learned everything. It would be the opposite of caring for clients. And I learned what not to do. And I learned really quick. And that's what caused me to rush into becoming a broker. I became a broker immediately because there was something called ethics that we all have a standard we have to follow. He did not follow them. It was an unbelievable experience, but it was eye-awakening. And so from that moment, I decided I was only going to treat clients like family. I was going to guide them. I would treat people the way I would expect to be treated. I treat my clients' children and all the referrals. A lot of our business is referral. Treat them like family, and you treat them like as if your child or your family member. And you guide them and you give them real options. Like you said, as opposed to rushing into, perfect, let's go ahead and get that listing agreement ready to go. Let's sell the property right away. This is their home. In the residential sector, homestead, this is the most expensive thing they'll ever buy. And they build memories. It's a foundation for people. And if there was an opportunity for them to save their property, that's what we focused on first. Absolutely. And then when you do something like that and you don't think of the pocketbook, just constant, the referrals will continue to pour later because they remember that the person thought from their heart, and using the knowledge in their heart was even more important for that person because they didn't lose their property. And then they referred the cousins and the friends and trust. It became a really big trust factor. Absolutely.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So it sounds like you understand the fact that, well, you care first of all, and you realize that caring pays off because everyone becomes part of your family to you, right? Or your family to them. That's how it works, both directions, of course. And then that becomes a referral source all by itself. So it's actually a good business practice. From a marketing, even if you didn't care, from a marketing perspective, it's a good business practice to treat them like family.
Of course.
Yeah.
They don't feel like another number, another statistic, and just another sale. I hate if it feels like a sales pitch. It really, that you're being sold something or being convinced to do something that you may or may not want to do. And so I think a true salesperson, a true sell, I guess, if you will, is one that doesn't really sound like a sales pitch, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense, right? This is awesome.
Like, let's hear what I need first, and then, you'll get, you know what I mean? So.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you're approaching that from the right direction, then you're doing the right thing. So I think that's fantastic. Everybody, thinks different things of salespeople on their interests. But if your interests or their interests and your interests align, that's when you're, giving them the best service, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You have to care. I mean, you have to care. You have to have morals, you have to have ethics, and you truly have to care. And if you do care for people, they feel it. Yeah. It's just a natural process. Yeah.
Well, give us an example of a situation where you had to be more caring than transactional. Give us an example or an illustration of that.
There's a lot of I'll give you one example. There was a family of 5 in a suburb of town, and they had actually put a good down payment down. They spoke Spanish as a first language. We speak Spanish. I speak Spanish fluently. And they didn't really understand all the paperwork and all of the jargon. But in the Latin culture, the home is very, very, very important. They pay their home first before clothes and shopping, and home is critical. So they'd had a pretty good down payment in that property, but taxes had gone up. I guess insurance had gone up at the time, but their interest rate wasn't the lowest. And so they had a little bit of a drop in their income, right? It was only one person working at the time, and they were barely making ends meet. And they were barely making that payment, but they had a lot of equity in that property. And so basically we went to the bank and we started talking to them and said, wait a minute, they had like 45, if I remember, $1,000 in there. And for that family, it's a lot of money to walk away from. And so I could have easily listed it, they could have maybe made a little bit of profit. But the thing is, after the expenses, the commissions, the closing costs, what they owe to the bank, they wouldn't have had much left to go and move on to the next property. So in that particular scenario, the best option was try to talk to the bank. Let's see if there's a way to have a workout plan for them to where they can actually stay in their home. And 5 years down the road, you want to sell it, call me later. But that was right. An example of, instead of rushing into the listing process, rushing into a short sale, that didn't make sense. If they were upside down, that'd be a different story. Right. But they had equity and they were in a bind.
Yes. No, that's a great example of taking care of them and doing the right thing once again for them.
Absolutely.
So you've been doing this for a while. How have you seen? I got to ask a little bit about technology. How have things changed from a technological standpoint from when you started till now? Has it changed much? What do you do differently that you didn't do 20 years ago?
It's interesting. It's funny you ask, because we're just now actually starting to implement more technology. We are kind of old-fashioned in that sense. I mean, we use the little social media, yes. We use some of the tools that our MLS system has for all the members. But as far as this massive AI scale or automation, we are actually finally working on that. And I feel that if I don't hurry up and implement it, I'm going to get left behind. I think a lot of it is fantastic to add, but of course, it's a learning curve for me. But a lot of it has just been, old-fashioned, in-person meeting, face-to-face, phone calls, of course, texting, but people do appreciate the old-fashioned communication. But what we're finding now with technology and all the changes, the clients and the prospects, they kind of expect automation. They expect that text automation, the follow-up, and the email that's all in a system format. And so, yeah, we're actually finally shifting to that. We've done the normal, like I said, text and email, but now we're looking at systems to actually take us to another level.
Got it.
We're more basic in that aspect.
So there's definitely a learning curve with that. There's so many technologies that are out there right now. And you don't need to adopt all of them right at once, but you don't want to get left behind to your point, because it's a
Exactly.
fast moving world. And, like you said, if your clients are expecting that automatic text and they don't receive it, they're wondering if you're the right company. Maybe that probably a question you, Monica.
Oh, no, but you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, just thinking ahead to what their expectations are changing over the years is what you're saying, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's an
Yes.
expectation, but it's also refreshing, right? On the other side of that too, the flip side of that, to actually have that connection and not just the automations, right? Actually being able to call in, somebody pick up the phone, and you can actually have that nice conversation. So I want to be able to still do both, obviously.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I know sometimes people, if you talk to them, you realize how they want to be communicated with. You get someone in a certain generation, and maybe it's just, the phone, right? The texting and not the phone call, because that's not what they're used to, and kind of meet them where they're at. I don't know. That's how I see it, at least, right? Don't try to force something different on them, but they are going to expect you're going to try to reach out in different ways, and not to feel bombarded by that. Feel like I'm giving you service. You can contact me any way you need to.
Exactly. And I think you're right. It depends on the person. It depends on I won't say age, but yeah. It depends on what
Certainly
they're
depends on
accustomed
age,
to.
right?
It depends. It depends. Right. So it depends on what they're accustomed to. And hey, my parents are in their 70s, and so my mom is adapted like this, and my father's still like, hey, I have my 15-year-old cell phone. It works like a charm, and I don't need anything else. I don't text. You can do the texting for me. So yeah,
That's
it
funny.
depends on the client for sure.
Yes, a 15-year-old cell phone is funny, because after 2 years, my cell phone stops working very well. So, I guess it's a matter of how much you use it, I suppose.
He's preserved it. Yes, he barely uses it.
Yeah, that is funny. Excellent. So, what part of the market do you try to work in, as far as, not what part of the market, what segment of the market? Like, who do you like to work with? Who you feel like you can help? Who do you want to see more in the door that you can best take care of?
So I started out in commercial, and then I went into the residential sector, did residential for quite some time. And now we do both. We do both residential and commercial. Of course, just like the majority of agents. I mean, I love listings, obviously.
Yes, of
But
course.
we love our buyers, and so definitely the ideal prospect that's going to convert to a client is somebody that doesn't necessarily know everything that they want, but that has an idea. I would say 60% of the clients that we have, whether residential or commercial, they're still trying to figure it out. They're not pre-qualified for a loan. They don't really know exactly where they want to be. They don't really know exact price range. So I mean, it's definitely our job as professionals to kind of ask the right questions to narrow that down. But definitely somebody that has already put some thought into it and not just aimlessly going at the process. So we don't really turn clients away. I mean, we do work in the entire city. There's certain areas we're not going to go to, but we have agents that can spread out. But to answer your question, I mean, an ideal client, we will educate them and cater to them. And we don't turn somebody away because they have a 600 credit score. We educate them and guide them on how to make certain changes and modifications so that they're ready in 90 days or 6 months. So it's hard to answer that because we don't really turn people away,
Maybe that's the perfect way to answer it. We don't turn people away.
Yeah.
Come talk to us. We'll figure out a path for you if you're interested and motivated, and not just poking around. That's kind of what I heard.
And not only that, I mean, if it's not time now and they need another year to buy, then we help them find a property for rent. I mean, we cover pretty much the entire real estate sector, and we do investments, we do flips, we're landlords, so we cover a good ground. The majority of it.
Yes. Yeah. Tell me about your own investments and that experience. You said you were in commercial first, moving into residential. You've bought some properties along the way, it sounds like. Maybe what advice do you give to other people that, would want to follow that sort of path?
Well, commercial, I didn't purchase commercial. I represent clients in commercial. A lot of industrial, income producing primarily is what they really, really like. So truck parking, mobile home, RV park. If they want to rent an office space, we can do things like that too, buy an office building, things like that. But I highly encourage commercial investing because there's a lot more tax breaks, but I'm not a CPA. Can't get into those details.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But commercial is amazing. And I prefer a lot of commercial, honestly, because it's kind of like a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday kind of deal. And the personal emotion is left out of it. It's
Right.
business. It's strictly business, and they focus on business. But I love dealing with people as well. So their home is something else. As far as investing, getting into investing, I began that in 2012. And the reason why I began that is because there was a point in time in my real estate career where there were several clients, because the bulk of what we were doing at the time were first time home buyers, somewhere between 580 and 640 credit scores. So if they missed one car note or got a divorce or lost their job, the deals were falling apart. And so I was helping a lot of my clients during 2000, 2008, sorry, 2007, 8, 9. I was taking them to auction. I was finding them deals. And I was watching them like, wait a minute, they just bought this for 100,000. They put about 40 grand into it and they just sold it for $220,000. And I thought to myself, wow, the hardest part is to find the good deal. You can find the money to fund that deal easily. And I started to learn that quickly in 2012. So I started with $20,000. I jumped right into it. I leveraged hard money. At that time, there were still foreclosures out there. I think the first one I bought was $32,000. Can't do that anymore.
Wow. No, not so much.
Yeah. So I ended up going on to do 27 of them. And I held on to a few. I did duplexes, fourplexes, single family. I learned a lot. Quick. I was my own general contractor on several. So
yes.
The best advice is do it. Because everything I'm learning is that the majority of people that end with wealth, all of them have real estate. There isn't one that doesn't at least have a couple of properties or invest in a REIT or something. But do it. At least have one or two. You have to. Yeah.
And they can go to you for advice on that, obviously.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
And then what market areas, like physical market areas, do you serve? You say the whole city?
All of Houston. I mean, we really don't do Galveston. We don't really do Conroe, stuff like that, too far out. But we focus in Central, West, inside 1960, inside Highway 6. So yeah, I would say the metro area, but not too far out.
All right, excellent. And it sounds like you have other agents that work for you. What advice do you give them when they join or get started in real estate? Maybe let's go back to that.
Well, the first thing is you. At one point, I had around 20 agents. As far as financial dues with our associations, you must fill out contracts properly. You know, I double check them all ever since that experience. The most important thing is don't think with your pocketbook and think of the client. Think of solutions first. That's what you're there for. Period. That's the best advice I give them.
So your personal culture is your company culture, clearly.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way you treat people is how you're going to be treated. I'm a true believer of that for sure.
Yes.
Do the right thing and things will come.
Excellent. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. Tell us about Monica. What do you like to do for fun? What do you do when you're not working 80 hours a week, probably?
Well, right now I'm having a blast in pickleball.
Oh, nice.
I think the whole world is right now. Yeah, my son, he was competitive tennis, and we picked up pickleball. I took a break from junior tennis, and so now he's pro pickleball, and it's great. It's a sport where we can actually play together half the time, which is so much fun. And so that's what I really do. Yeah, play cards. But mostly pickleball takes up a lot of my extra time.
That's awesome. I know there's been pickleball courts that are popping up everywhere. We've got, what is it, Chicken and Pickle? That's the latest one that we've seen show up. I don't know if is that like nationwide? Do you guys have those down there?
We have one here, but my son actually played a tournament in Kansas. They have two there, one in Kansas City and one in, I think it's St. Charles. Just on the outskirts of St. Louis. So yeah, I didn't know they had them over where you are. Wow.
I'm in Denver. Yeah, I'm in Denver.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Food and pickleball, right? And they have concerts. It's quite neat.
Yeah, I've not been there yet. It's relatively new, and I haven't played pickleball. I hate to admit, but I know. I feel like I'm missing out now.
Come on, David.
Especially.
Get with the program. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I bet you with the elevation, it'll still fly fine. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, we're a mile high. It's not that big of a deal. The air's a little thinner. It's probably just harder to move faster and have enough breath. I think
Catch your
that'd be
breath.
the biggest
Exactly.
struggle.
I
But
remember in tennis. Yeah, I think the highest elevation we went with tennis, and that ball was a high elevation ball, was Albuquerque. Yeah, that was the
okay.
highest. We never did play in Denver, so yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious how
Yeah,
that
and I
feels.
think Albuquerque is just a little bit higher than we are, if I'm not mistaken. But
Wow. Okay. I
yeah,
didn't realize that.
so there you go. Yeah, it'd probably be different up in the mountains. I know when even people that golf up there, you can get better distance, if you have a good course.
They have a golf course up in the mountains in the Rockies?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of golf courses.
No way. All the way up there?
Yes.
Holy. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Breckenridge or Vale, Eagle, there's Aspen. It keeps going. So yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
but okay, down below though, right? Not like up there.
Not in the Rocky Top part of it.
Yeah, well,
No,
not
that'd be
the very
dangerous.
Top, all the way up. Yeah.
I think it would. That would be dangerous.
Oh, it's
Oh, my
beautiful
gosh.
over there. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what else should we know about you, Monica? Your business or otherwise? Tell us some inside secrets here.
Well, I'm a proud mother of one. He's now an adult. Oh, which is crazy. Just turned in.
Just an adult.
And of two,
Yes.
excuse me. My second one has 4 legs and he's furry and he's a schnauzer. So yeah, love to travel. We've been to several countries. Love trying different, foods,
Nice.
friends, gatherings, hosting, fun stuff.
And then are you originally from the Houston area?
Born and raised, native
Born and
Houstonian.
raised.
You cannot say that very often.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We have people from everywhere here, but yeah. Born and raised. Yeah.
Houstonian. Do you have like a bumper sticker? I'm a Houstonian.
I should.
Oh my gosh.
I should.
We have a version of that in Colorado, and it'll say native, and it's really just telling the other people. It's kind of the rest of you don't belong here. It's kind of really what it says. We all know what this says. And so now people have stickers that says semi-native, which the natives hate, Well, most of them are just fine with it. They're just playing around, but there's certainly a few that think we have too many people, of course. That's just how it works.
Well, Denver's growing. The last time I was there near the airport, I guess Aurora area, they kept building and building and building. I saw a lot of construction.
Oh yeah, it's growing. I've been here for 25 years almost, and yeah, it's we used to be far enough north from the city. I think it's 136 is the closest area. I'm in Broomfield, Colorado. There used to be pretty much nothing north. Even at that point in time, a few subdivisions kind of here and there, and now you go up and they're next to the highway. They're all the way to the mountains, the foothills, and it's just it's grown, but It's cool. We like lots of people. Get a little more diversity maybe would be good. It's not a bad place to be.
No, it's really beautiful. You have a lot of parks. Wash Park is really nice. I've been there a few times. Yeah, it's a nice area.
Yes,
Colorado's really pretty.
The other things you get when you have more people are chicken and pickle. I mean, all these places that you wouldn't get otherwise, right?
True.
Yes.
It's true.
Yes. So anyway, I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap up here, if that's good with you.
Sounds
and
great.
Anyway, so for those of you watching, hope you enjoyed this episode, and be sure to follow Technologies Now on the Business Edge for more conversations. And we'll post how you can connect with Monica here and anyone at her company, Wilhelm Investments and Realty. We'll put those in the show notes here so you can get a hold of her. And thanks again for joining us on episode 30. And thanks, Monica. I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you as well, David. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.